It took 6 months to be able to touch her. She could barely walk. She tried to go over this fence. That fence is about 4 feet tall. Donkeys don't jump very well. Really? That's Ivan. Ivan the Wonderful. This is Jasmine. We got them as babies. Ivan, when he came, was only a month old, and Jasmine was 3 months old. So these were rescues from the kill pen. And donkey hide is used extensively in herbal and Chinese medicine. A lot of donkeys get sold at auction, and then their hides are used. So we rescued Ivan's mommy, Ella. She's over there. Ella's such a good girl. Oh, there's a good scritch. So they're very shy. It took 6 months to be able to touch her. They had been abused and neglected. Her hooves were completely turned up and overgrown. She could barely walk. We didn't realize at the time, one of the things that I really want to emphasize is that almost every animal on this farm is a rescue animal. We were going to do a 501c3 so that we could collect donations and collect more animals, and we decided against that, and we decided that we don't want to have a lot of people coming to the farm because these animals are pretty shy. Hugh, could you go talk to your son? They're pretty shy because they didn't come from great beginnings. And so having a lot of strangers come around the farm is a little weird for them. And like I said, it took 6 months to be able to touch Mama. Luckily, carrots were the great changer. This is Cupcake. Cupcake had a colic over Easter weekend, and, you know, free from the kill pen cost $8,000 for that surgery. Mama, because her feet were in such bad shape, we had to do a ton of work with her feet. We had to buy her special boots that had to be changed every day. She had to have bandages put on her feet. She drained big abscesses out. It took about 8 months, and this just happened in the past year. It was just all left over from old damage. Again, that was a few $1,000s. So the big thing with rescue is a lot of people want to do rescue work, and a lot of people have a big heart. Unfortunately, along with that big heart has to come the financial commitment as well. Jasmine, when she was 6 months old, she had a choke incident and developed aspiration pneumonia. She was in the ICU, and it was over $10,000 for her week in the ICU. You know, we don't take this lightly with these animals. And when we commit to take care of them, it's a lifelong commitment. And so I just want people to understand, you know, why we do things the way we do. And this, we fund it all ourselves because we're committed to these animals, but that's why we don't have more. We have plenty of room here. We could have a lot more animals, but we don't want to extend ourselves to the point where we can't take care of everybody. So that's why we don't have 50 animals here. Well, we do. We have 75, but 45 are chickens. Hi, Ivan. So this is Ella. This is Ivan's mommy. Like I said, she was really scared when she came and had really, really bad feet. But we also had an accident. When we were treating her feet with her boots and her bandage changes every day, we were also told that she couldn't be out walking around. And so we tried keeping her in a stall, and that was just a no-go. So we locked her in this run out, so she had a stall and a little bit of area, and she could see everybody else over the fence. She didn't like that. These three are very, very much connected, and you can see those two they've been together their whole life. They come in groups and pairs. So Mama didn't like being by herself, even though she could see everybody else, so she tried to go over this fence. That fence is about 4 feet tall. Donkeys don't jump very well, and she didn't make it. So the front end went over and the back leg got hung up on the fence. So if you come around to this side, so then we had to keep her in for another 3 months doing bandage changes on her leg. Honey, can you come distract Jasmine? When Ella tried to jump the fence, she didn't make it. And so she ended up taking all of the skin off of this leg, this whole front. So now we have a big, there's a big scar that's left. But this required bandage changes, and they wanted her on a lot of antibiotics. We had to treat her for shock. She was really shocky because she was hung up on the fence for a few minutes. And they wanted her on heavy antibiotics and pain meds, you know me. So we used Buck Mountain Wound Balm on that. That was the only thing I ever used on her bandages. And it healed so well. And all we have is a little line scar, which, considering there was no skin on that leg, really amazing. And it never got infected, was never an issue. Her big problem that started it all was the front feet, not gonna do it, not out in the field. In the soles of her hoof, she had a big hole, both front feet. She had a big hole. And what was happening is dirt and sand was getting up in that hole and actually going between the hoof wall and the bone. And it got so infected that the bones that are inside of her hoof, it would be like the end bone on your finger, they were dissolving from infection. So she was losing the bones in her front feet, which means not able to walk, and there's only one answer to that. So we spent a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money working on her to make her feet better. And then unfortunately, she decided to make it worse by trying to jump over the fence. But we fixed that too. So, you know, horses and donkeys, I'm convinced, spend most of their life looking for how to get into trouble. They've done a good job. To me, their coats look like burlap bags. Especially in the winter, they get really roughed up. Their hair gets really long. Here, Mama has to get some too. Mama has insulin resistance, so that's why she has these big fat pads. She's a little bit overweight, but really it's more from the insulin resistance they make these big fat pads. Hey, sweeties. Oh, yeah, she's a good girl. Let's see, Jasmine's gonna come stick herself in the middle, and this one's coming from this direction. Everybody's happy. We'll go get a carrot. Let's get a carrot.
Palmitoyl ethanolamide, also known as PEA, I started using it with my own Cavaliers, and I was so impressed by the results that I decided to make human-grade, high-quality PEA available for other pets. After successfully using Dr. Judy's PEA on cats, dogs, horses, and donkeys, it continues to be one of my favorite tools to have in my toolbox. Take 15% off any size of Dr. Judy's PEA using code YTP15 at naturallyhealthypets.com. That's YTP15 for 15% off any size of Dr. Judy's PEA at naturallyhealthypets.com.